Hey, in this video, we will walk through the paid options available in Helpdesk Migration Wizard. So these add-ons give you more control over your migration and help you tailor it to your specific business and technical needs. Uh, you can select these options directly from the mapping page during the demo stage, and they will be automatically applied during the full migration. So basically, where you can see options, you can see them under this button options here, and also I have a separate migration to show you the options for accounts, companies, and customers. So let's start here. Let's start with the ticket options. Migrate newest records first. These options allow to reverse the order of the ticket migration. So by default, we read all the tickets from oldest to new from, in our case, Zendesk, and then migrate them in the same order into Freshdesk. If you have a small migration and you want to start using Freshdesk as soon as possible, you go with the just basic things. You can use this option to migrate the newest tickets first, but pay attention that the tickets will not appear in Freshdesk unless we read all the data from Zendesk. So still, if imagine the migration takes 4 hours, we're reading the data from Zendesk for 2 hours, and only after that we start migrating this data into Freshdesk. So the ticket will appear like in 2.5 hours in Freshdesk, the newest ticket, and then the old ticket will start appearing. This option is useful for some small migration where customers want to do one-step hard switch to the new system and start using that as soon as possible. Migrate site conversation. So there are two options specifically available only for the migration from Zendesk, which are migrate site conversation and transfer call recordings. So site conversation, if we migrate the data from Zendesk to Zendesk, site conversations migrate as site conversations. If we migrate the data from Zendesk to some other system, site conversations are migrated as private comments. Call recordings are migrated as MP3 file attachments. The private comment in the ticket, that's it. Skip attachments. You can pick up for what period of time to preserve your attachments. By default, all attachments are migrated. There is no extra cost for migration of the attachments. But the recent use cases are that the platforms, for example, Zendesk, Salesforce, they charge for storing the data if that exceeds like the limit they give you. So some customer might not want to migrate all of the attachments they have just not to reach that storage limit too fast. They want to preserve the attachments only for some limited period of time, and you can pick up the period here and only migrate part of the attachments. But that's not really common, but useful for the migration where the destination system charges for the storage of the file. Migrate inline images as attachments. That's the next option. I would really recommend to use this option for anyone because what it does, basically how the migration works. When you migrate the tickets with inline images like embedded image in the text of the comment, you can see that straight away. You do not need to download that to see that. When you migrate the ticket with inline images in the demo migration, this seems like they migrate because the URL to that inline image points to the old source system, and that URL is still live and inline image shows up as it is migrated. But as soon as your source system is down, the inline image will disappear. What we do, we download those inline images, save them as the files, and upload them to the new system as attachments, and they are attached to the comments in the proper places. So this, especially if you used a lot of the inline images, like 2 or 3 inline images per ticket, I do recommend to use this option, migrate inline images as attachments. And this option add a new tag to tickets. So basically it adds one and the same tag to all of the migrated tickets. You can simply choose any ticket, any tag you want. Example, migrated. All the tickets will be marked with this tag, migrated. The original tags or labels, whatever they are called, they will be migrated by default, and this will be just one extra tag. So what it's useful for? To mark the migrated tickets if you're merging two instances together. Sometimes in some platforms, it is required to disable some notifications, automations, workflows, triggers. And if you're not willing to disable them, but you do not want them to be fired for the migrated tickets, what you can do, you can set the exception so they do not fire for the tickets which have label migrated, and add this label in this option to all of the migrated tickets, and that's it. We will discuss a little bit more about that when we will be discussing the migration planning. So these about the options for the tickets. What I highly recommend is migrate inline images as attachments, and marking the tickets that got migrated, because even if that's the new system, it might be useful to know which ticket was migrated and which ticket was created in the system right after the migration, like in the course of work. Let me close that. And for articles, there are two options that are really useful in the full migration. The first one is migrate content translation. So basically, if you have the articles in multiple languages, like the translation of the same article, this option will migrate those translation and update crosslink between articles. So what this option does, so we migrate from Zendesk to Freshdesk. Let's imagine that we have the URLs to other Zendesk articles, like links to other Zendesk article in the body of the tag, in the body of the article. So one article refers to another article. When those articles will be migrated to Freshdesk, the URLs in the bodies of those articles will not be changed. They still will be directing to Zendesk. Not like the best thing to do, because after the migration you will need to go and manually change those URLs to with the URLs of the newly migrated Freshdesk articles. So what this option does, it will replace the URLs of the migrated articles, like Zendesk article URL with Freshdesk article URL in the body of the article itself. Okay, let me say that. The common option for tickets and articles, and if you will be migrating problem and changes, that you will also have that option, is select records for demo. So what it allows to do, it allows you to input the ID of the ticket or the article, if you use that in the articles, that should be migrated in the demo. You can input up to 20 IDs, but that's my ID, for example. The ticket with this ID will be migrated in the demo. So this option is really works great if you want to check the articles with the tickets with some heavy attachments, with hundreds of comments, with some specific custom field set. So this can help you to see how the data will be migrated specifically in some of the tickets. I do recommend to use that. Like, that's free. You can rerun the migration multiple times. You can input different ticket IDs here. Use that just to make sure that the data migrates properly with those free test migrations, just to make sure that everything migrates properly. And let me show you the option here for accounts and customers. So it's a one common option, migrate only records related to other entities. So what it does, if we pick up that for organizations, it will migrate only those organizations which linked to the migrated tickets or problems changes. If we have that for customers, then it means that only customers and users related to the migrated tickets will be transferred. So, what are the use cases? In case if you uh, deleted spam tickets, you had a lot of the spam tickets, you deleted them, but you didn't delete the users, like the requesters of those tickets. They still are in your source system, but you do not want to migrate them. So you choose this option, migrate only records related to other entities, and only customers who were CC in the tickets, who are comments in the tickets will be migrated, and those without tickets will be omitted and left behind. So it's kind of the filtering option. Also, mm, that this option, migrate only records related to other entities, might be useful if you do the filtering of the tickets and you filtered, ask the team to filter the tickets, but they didn't. But you do not want to migrate all the contacts as well. You want to use this option to migrate only the tickets that only the contacts that belong to the filtered tickets. So that's basically it for the custom options. And in the next video, we will move forward to migration planning, how to plan the uh, switch over strategy so you can switch smoothly without downtime from your source system to your target system.